In September of 2020, the City and Borough of Juneau Assembly appropriated Federal CARES Act funding to assist 135 Juneau artists. In the spirit of the Works Projects Administration of the 1930s era, the Juneau ArtWorks program reflects the zeitgeist of the public health emergency and will remind us of how our community responded to the COVID-19 pandemic.
My name is Constance Baltuck, and my painting is called Outward Beauty, Inner Calm. It was based on fireweed and the life cycle of fireweed, and by extension the life cycle that we all go through and that the world goes through every season. If it's not so good right now, just wait a while and the good time will come around again. That's my fundamental belief. My canvas for the piece was 8 feet wide on 2 panels and 3 feet high. So it's made of 2 panels that were 3 by 4 feet each that could be hung together to show the complete transition from flower into seed and seed into flower, or hung together as more like a mural. Part of it is descriptive and identifiable as fireweed, and part of it is quite fanciful and abstracted. So that's how most of my work is. It takes its beginnings from some image or form or vision out of nature, and then I play around with it. Fireweed gives you so much room to play around with shapes. Okay, there's flower shapes, but the most wonderful shapes are what happens when those flowers go to seed and the seed pods open and those like curlicues. I just love that. So the shapes are, you know, derived from natural forms, but you'll see them throughout the painting kind of weaving into each other, back and forth. This was a piece that used a family of color with some accents to make that color pop a little bit. What I like to do when I'm doing a broad, mostly abstracted painting like that is pour on colors and let them flow and guide them into the general direction that I have in mind and see what happens. Acrylic offers you the most flexibility. Acrylic paints will dry quickly if you want them to, or you can add mediums to make it dry more slowly so you can have a mixing effect. I use acrylic paint for painting outdoors because I can move from one layer to another really quickly. The colors are intense, and that's what I go for in a lot of my work, is really intense color, because that's joyful. We all love color. Nature and appreciation of nature and the world and all the beauty of the world, you can get that from going all over the place and seeing all the wondrous sights, or you can learn to know one place intimately. And I feel like that's what I've done in Juneau over the last 40-some years, because I've been painting here since the first year I came to Juneau, and that's about getting out there and just absorbing the place where you are. I think everybody here in Juneau, at least, probably in the whole state, recognizes fireweed as a symbol of rebirth, because it's named for its ability to inhabit recent burned areas. It's the first thing to come back. I'm hoping we've all got that resilience to spring back from COVID. That was my concept with using fireweed. I never try to project any interpretation for another person onto my work. I just want people to respond to it and look at it and, you know, hopefully feel a tiny lift, you know, of pleasure from the colors or the concept. Keep in mind this, whatever you're going through, if it's bad, it'll get better, and if it's good, savor it, because it might not last. That's why I thought it was appropriate for a COVID subject, is because it was bad, but it will get better. So that's turned out to be true.